podcast is a member of WildGamesProductions.com and D20Radio.com.
They came from the game table, dice bags in hand,
We have one brain that we share between us.
to talk about role-playing for all across the land.
And you'll like it.
The original, then basic, then one they scoured.
Kinda grabs you by the boo-boo, don't it?
To bring AD&D to the second power.
You want me to put the hammer down?
Welcome to THACO's Hammer, the best damn AD&D 2nd edition podcast ever.
You got your ducks in a row. I'd like to start this.
Yes, go ahead. I'm just reading the Facebook posts, and somebody's being a smartass, I think.
Oh boy. Hiya, folks. THACO's Hammer, number 100.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Really?
Made it.
Yeah. It's me, DM Glen. I'm sorry, fool, I couldn't make it for the 100th. That's all right. This tuxedo's kind of chafing me. So...
We couldn't find him. His tuxedo's made of camouflage. We couldn't find him.
That's right. He's a camo. It's a camo tux. I almost said camel toe. But anyway, I am DM Glen, presiding over the naughty bits as usual. And we have DM Brian.
Hey, folks, what's going on out there?
And DM Corey.
Hi, everybody. What's going on?
Keep drinking. And our special guest, DM Zeb Cook.
Hey there.
Straight from the basement.
Hiding out in the cellar.
The man, the myth, the legend.
That's where all masterminds create their best work.
I thought he was hiding from the orcs.
I could say something.
So, our 100th episode, we're going to be doing questions by you, and maybe we might even think of a few. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, let's get into hits and grits.
Well? One thought he was invincible, the other thought he could fly. So? They were both wrong.
Son of a bitch is dug in like an Alabama tick.
You're hit. You're bleeding, man.
I ain't got time to bleed.
We're sending somebody in to negotiate!
Anybody else want to negotiate?
Hits and crits.
What have you been doing in gaming this week, Brian?
Oh, let's see. I've just been doing Marvel Heroes as usual, having a lot of fun. They did release the Juggernaut as a playable character this weekend, and I haven't gotten him yet, but I've been watching a couple of streams of people who've been running, basically leveling him up, and the quotes that he has while he's kicking butt are hilarious. I mean,
of course they are.
Let's put it this way. He basically, when he runs across Wolverine, he basically says, "Why don't you have some poutine?" And, something like that. First time I heard it, I almost did a spit take because I was drinking my ginger ale at the time. And when he said it, I almost sprayed it all over my monitor. It was hilarious.
I'm going to have to ask, do they say bitch a lot?
No, actually he doesn't. They don't use the word.
Oh man.
Yeah, I know it's kind of sad, but in this PC.
Yeah, with me, if I had a button when I was playing every other step, it'd be "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. What you been up to?
Family game.
Family game. Yeah. Corey, what you been up to?
Drawing, drinking, world creating, drinking, thinking about painting minis, and trying not to drink so much.
I think you're failing in that regard.
Yeah, I was about to say you're having a struggle there.
So, Zeb, how's life treating you? What you been up to?
Oh boy, we've been working hard lately. We've basically got a lot of stuff to do at work, and then I'm getting ready for a miniatures game, so I'm trying to paint all the miniatures and get that frantically done. And my life is crazy.
Okay. Okay, well,
I do have a bit of news.
Oh,
I did not mention this. Last D&D session, as you know, I'm no longer DMing one of my players' fiancées who we've corrupted her, or not corrupted her, we've sanctified her and brought her back from 3.5.
You've indoctrinated her.
There you go.
She's DMing, and my girlfriend could not play due to the fact that she has a 12-year-old daughter. 12-year-old daughter who's a cheerleader, who came over and sat and watched us play, and she goes, "Corey, I want to play." I'm like,
yes.
My girlfriend looked at me, and she just smiled at like this big feces-eating grin, and I was like, "What is this?" She goes, "She wants to play. She's interested." So it looks like my daughter will be playing D&D with us, my 12-year-old.
Congratulations!
Awesome.
I love seeing an indoctrination. Cool.
Yep, right around between the ages of 11 and 13. That's the perfect age.
Well, let's see. What have I been doing?
Yes, what have you been doing?
Well, I understand the Petty Gods project is still going strong. He asked me for some artwork I did for it that they didn't have. It's passed to another person, so I gave it to him, and he's looking for more art. So he handed me 3 assignments for 3 gods, and he threw me a curve by being one of them as a woman. I don't draw women very well, but don't tell him that.
Subcontracted.
To you? Sure. Yeah. There's no money in it.
I don't care. Give me.
I will ask him. What else did I do? I ran a Champions game. It was Friday night. I ran Champions, just like a skirmish out of the basic book, Champions 4th edition, and I was totally exhausted by the end of the session. That's a lot of paperwork to shuffle. I can't do that anymore.
Like I said, it's not only the paperwork, it's that math and algebra and trigonometry you need just to figure out how many dice you need.
See, I didn't say a word this time.
And the fact my villains couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, but I went through all my other superhero games. What do I got? Villains and Vigilantes, Heroes Unlimited, Silver Age Sentinels, Mutants and Masterminds, and I decided to run Marvel Face Rip, the advanced set. That should be easier. And we played more of Horde of the Dragon Queen last Saturday. I still don't care for 5th edition, but I did like. The thing is, it's what I enjoyed had nothing to do with the edition. Basically, I found this nice little spell called Cloud of Daggers. What's that clerical spell where he puts it up and there's like this bunch of whirling hammers in one area?
Blade barrier.
Well,
it's blade.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, substitute daggers for the hammers.
Cool.
And I put it in one corridor, one square to keep the bad guys from coming through.
Right.
And one of them, who's on in the other hall, son of a gun, Matt, the DM, says, and he comes around the hall, we all in unison, he walks into it's like he walked into a wood chipper.
Nice.
Because he walked into the blade barrier. Yes! I just earned my keep in the group.
I love finding that one special spell that works for the night, and it's just like you validated yourself. You're like, okay, I've done it. I'm worth something now in this group that works.
Yes. And before that, they had the camp was empty except for these 2 hunters who were helping the bad guys because the Cult of the Dragon cleared out, but they left the eggs guarded. And we want to get these guys out of there. And basically, before I webbed their tent, I used prestidigitation, which is like minor thing. It's a cantrip.
Yeah.
And he says, well, what do? He says, okay, I want them to hear, they hear very loudly, ready? And the sound of 20 bows being pulled back.
Oh boy.
Scared the living bejesus out of those guys. They came running out of the tent. One took an arrow to the chest. We ended up webbing the tent and burning it down.
Nice.
Yay, more destruction. But that was my game, and that's me. I'm all done.
Awesome.
Anyway, we have
cheerful descriptions of mass slaughter.
Yeah,
that's right.
There you go.
I don't exactly agree with the murder hobo appellation, but I guess it could be,
It could.
It could be appropriate. But anyway, okay, Brian, we've got questions for Mr. Cook.
Yeah.
One of the fathers of 2nd edition D&D.
Yes. The man who was in charge of the project. It's his name who's first on the list of people involved when you open up a player's handbook or a DM's guide in 1989. So,
you mean like the FBI Most Wanted?
When it comes to some 1E players, yes, but that's all I will say about it. Okay, so, yeah, we have a question from Sonny Calzone. Wow, there's a name.
Oh, hey, Sonny.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah. Hey, Sonny, how's it doing? He says, "Ahoy there, Zeb," and he says, "I have a Planescape question for you."
Oh boy.
Yeah, and you were involved heavily in Planescape.
Right out the gate.
Right out the gate. Yeah. Wow. He said, "What was your inspiration for the Outlands? Thanks for your time."
Oh wow. The Outland in particular. That's kind of precise. So I think it was part of the inspiration was, well, we had to fill some space here. We have this giant spire. There had to be something around it, and we had to have something where players could go do things that were not going to get them horribly killed instantly.
Yes.
So that was a lot of it, and at that point, the imagination had already gone crazy with the project, so it was just like, oh, what can we stick out here? And indulging in fun and whimsy.
Hey, that's how it always was back in those days, right, Zev?
Oh, sometimes, yeah.
Yes, when there weren't deadlines involved. Let's put it that
way.
way.
These little issues like deadlines and all sorts of other little considerations.
Yeah, yeah, canon and all that.
What do you mean I have to produce?
But yeah, thank you for your question, Sonny. Do you want to do a regular email, Corey?
Yeah, I was first gonna, before we get into the emails where we're specifically asking Zeb questions, I was gonna try to intro him for the listeners. I mean, you can cut this part out, but I was gonna be like, asking Zeb, describe how he got into the
go right ahead,
genre and stuff like that. All right. Yeah, what I have a few questions for Zeb myself. I definitely would like, first introduce Zeb to everybody, as Glenn has already graciously done, but I'd like to hear from Zeb how he got into the group and was handed second edition essentially and said, "Here, go."
Wow. So, I mean, how I got it, well, basically, I think it was I had been there about the longest. So yeah, I've been working there for about 10 years at that point, and after Gary had always kind of like before he left was always kind of putting together the idea that there was going to be a need to do a new edition and all this sort of stuff, and it was pretty clear that if Gary was around, he was going to do it. But then after he left, there was this huge void, and there were not a lot of people that had enough of the kind of background with the game and basically time with Gary, and also I guess a certain amount of the understanding and the writing talent or something. I'm not sure I had writing talent, but to put it all together. And so it originally started out that we were just going to kind of do an editorial job on it, and Steve Winter, who was the editor on the project, was really kind of the lead at that point. But as we got into it, it really quickly became apparent that there was just a lot of stuff that we needed to kind of like sort out, get all the contradictions out, and all that sort of stuff. And so you do a lot of lobbying, and then eventually they say, okay, yes, you can do it.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
So like, how much like direct input did you have, like as far as no, I don't like that, remove that, or were you?
I had a lot of that. Yeah, I mean, at the same time, I was not making decisions in a vacuum or anything like that. Everything that we were kind of going through had to be basically, I'm kind of like approved by committee, and that sounds terrible, but really what it was is all the we would do regular reviews with all the other designers and the editors, and kind of get together in a room and basically get our manuscript beaten the crap out of it.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
And being told, no, we probably can't do that, or, oh, that sounds like a good idea, or, these sorts of things. I mean, certainly there were some controversial decisions that we made, getting rid of the monk and the assassin and the barbarian and stuff like that. There were a lot of people who didn't like that, but at the same time, you put together arguments and reasons why, and then basically convinced people. There were a bunch of things we kind of thought about doing and just never could do, or just realized were never going to work.
Right. Now, when you dropped the monk, like, was the things that you changed in it and were part of the change, were they shelved for later, like they were planning on it for later, or did they just say we don't like the monk?
Well, it wasn't that we didn't like the monk. It was that, in part, we still had Oriental Adventures at the time, and even though it was first edition, and the monk, the way the first edition originally presented him, is, let's face it, it's very much an Oriental character. And when you looked at all of the other characters and stuff that was going into Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, they're all very Western European, and so it was just this kind of mashup that didn't work at that point. And so the argument was, well, let's just keep him out, and then later on we can bring him in with a whole bunch of we can redo Oriental Adventures, or we could do something new.
You never got to do that. That's too bad.
Yeah, well, the problem is you always have more ideas than you have time.
That's true.
Yeah.
But, there was too many people out there who just wanted to roundhouse kick a dragon, So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have any more?
Let's see. Well, I'm monitoring Facebook right now, seeing if any questions come in.
Are you happen to check our chat that we have here?
Yes, I did. And I was just going to say we could just do a regular email right now.
So you just want me to pick one random one out of here?
Yeah, just pick one, and we'll go with it.
Yeah. Put your hand in there, pull it out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we'll do first E modules and second E rules. I'm not reading the Lorraine email.
Yeah, we're not going down that road. No.
Yeah, we're not going down that road here. All right. This email is from FD, one of our new DM Kojo clones, I'll call him.
Yeah,
till he
for sure
outdoes Kojo. Once he outdoes DM Kojo, then he gets his own shadow. It says I play pretty much vanilla 2E with a few house rules, but I lean heavily upon 1E materials as source and flavor. Specifically, I'm running T1 through T4 Temple of Elemental Evil. I plan on running a few dragons in the nodes at 2nd edition dragons, which are considerably more powerful. Yep. The giants in the lower levels will be 2E giants. I also ran the harpies on the first level of the dungeon as 2nd edition harpies, which for whatever reason TSR had, are more powerful than 1st edition harpies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Second paragraph, classed fighters have weapon specialization. Classed wizards are specialists and have extra spells. I used the monk and the assassin out of the Scarlet Brotherhood book.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that the 2E characters are slightly more powerful than 1st E characters, so they can handle it. The PCs are also a higher than expected level for the module. I use generous stat rolling methods and give max HP at 4th level. Wow.
Yeah, that's very generous.
Yeah, so they have a cushion to protect themselves. They
way kinder than I would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any of us sitting here, I would think.
We plan on eventually running GDQ. I guess that's the Giants.
That's the Giants, yeah.
Drow and Wolf, yeah.
Okay. And I'm at odds with making all of those freaking Giants into 2E Giants. I know DM Brian has extensive experience converted basic to 2E, but what about 1E to 2E, specifically when running the classic modules? Your friend, FD.
Okay. Well, 1E to 2E is with some exceptions, as in giants, as in with dragons, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. We've all said it before. It's not hard to convert a 1st edition module to 2nd edition. The only thing you would have to do as a DM is reconfigure the experience points that you would earn, because the systems are completely different.
Yeah, and most people do that anyway, depending on the game. Like I said, my version is put a THACO on it, slap it on its ass, and send it out there. That's
exactly.
Let me point it towards Zeb. I was going to say, Zeb, are you DMing at all or playing D&D at all currently?
Oh,
or?
no, I don't have the time.
Oh, that's true. All right. About this email, they says, let me ask, when you guys were designing it when you guys were done with the skeleton and you guys had it done, did you guys step back and go, wow, we really did a power creep from 1 to 2? Did you visually see the
well, some of that was definitely intentional. I mean, we were instructed, the instructions were pretty clear that this game was Dungeons and Dragons. Those dragons better be damn the most powerful things in the book.
They better be impressive.
And so, that was Jim Ward's instruction. It's like, okay, well, we'll do that. And, the power creep, frankly, the power creep had already happened in a lot of it because by the time you took first edition and took all of the extra material that came out, like on Earth Arcana and all the magazine stuff and everything, you had some pretty crazy, powerful characters. And so it was more kind of the, collecting all of that stuff, throwing out some of the stuff that didn't work well, and then seeing what we had left. And I've been accused usually of being terribly stingy about these kinds of things.
I as well.
Yeah. I choose more of a middle road. I'm generous when I believe they've earned it, but I'm try not to be a skinflint either. I try to walk a middle path, and that's, as I found out over the years, that's a rather more difficult road to walk. Because when you walk down the middle, both sides are not happy. Some think they deserve more, some think that there's a little too much, and it's like, well, you're gonna need it. Because
I pull back. No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, once you get up around, in my game, I'd say probably about 7th level or so, that's when things really start getting interesting. Because now you can survive what I can throw at you, and I can ramp up my deviousness factor a couple of notches. Yeah. And, it just goes from there. But, the way I look at it, it's not so much as far as the power creep goes, I think it was more or less justified because, playing 1E, going into the, middle to late 80s where all those supplements were available, like Zeb said, when they were all out there, you could have, even though you're using the same rule set, you had radically different games going on depending on what was used. And so, when 2nd edition came out, I'm like, okay, I can see how this works. So yeah, I just went from there, and here I am. Well, goodness, what, 25 years later?
Youngster.
That is awesome.
Thanks, Zeb.
Absolutely.
I pull back from my early days where I thought first level characters could handle 4 giant spiders. But at the same time, like a good fight card, I want to see a good fight, a bunch of good boys, going at it. So I kind of want to. I pay more attention to the hit dice now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
that's a good thing. That's a very.
So I always worked on the theory that it was much better. I don't really like killing player characters, and so I will often go to extremes to kind of avoid their dying. Mm-hmm. But the trade-off for that is therefore I will put them through all sorts of torments and horribleness and awful situations as an excuse for not dying.
Right.
Torture, on the other hand.
Yeah.
You still live.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You just don't live as well as you did a few minutes ago.
You don't have any kneecaps, but you're living.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, it's the same way as like this new campaign we're in. The one rogue in the party decided to hide in shadows and then go move silently, and he snuck off down the corridor, went down the wrong corridor, fell into a pit, and we're level 3 now. I'm a level 3 psionicist, and the level 3 thief fell into a pit, woke up, and he's laying on a big pile of dead bodies, and he's in a hydrogen layer. Because we're too low for where we're supposed to be. Because we delved down. And she looked at me, and I know what it was. It was because of how I run my world. And she's like, y'all shouldn't be down here. And I was like, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah.
Yeah, tricks and traps are there in case, we don't need a monster to beat you up.
Well, yeah, it was just that whole power creep point of, I was just like, okay, yeah, we're not where we're supposed to be. She's a 3.5 DM. We need to move that way.
Yeah, you need to move laterally, not. Yeah. You don't delve down until you've cleared it out.
That's what we did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we always that magic point in the game where we go, okay, we cleared this level, right? All right, we're going down the stairs.
Yep. Okay.
And hope we can handle what comes at us.
Mm-hmm. So that was one email from FD.
You know, I did a recent brainstorm about tricks and traps, and I came up with a couple of good, really devious traps. And then I looked at them and presented them, and I thought, you know, I'd never put these in my dungeon. That would be a TK. I would never put these in my dungeon.
Well, you know, then that's why you write them out and you publish them and you give them to other DMs who have no qualms about doing that.
You know, like Grimtooth did.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
There you go.
Which, by the way, I will let you guys know, Grimtooth books are coming back out. They're republishing.
I heard.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yes, and a big collection, one big group of all 6 books or 5 books.
What?
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, he actually made 5. Yeah, he did make 5. That's right.
Yeah.
I remember now. Okay. Shall we move on to the next email?
Yep, go ahead.
All right, cool. All right, this is from DM Gravedancer. Okay, he says...
These guys aren't subtle.
No, not at all. Well, let's put it this way.
I don't want a DM named Grave Dancer.
Yeah, it's going to be a rather...
I brought my ream of characters. Let's go.
Exactly. Yeah, all these filled out character sheets. I'm probably
What is this,
gonna
Call
use
Cthulhu? Yeah.
Exactly. No, Traveler. Anyway, he says, hey guys, DM Gravedancer here. Love your show. I've been listening every night at work, and I'm currently on episode 57. I'm a very novice DM and play with a small group of friends. I cut my teeth on 2E and have not tried any other editions, partly because I'm stubborn, but mostly because the collector in me wanting to get my hands on everything with a 2E on it. Yeah, good luck with that. Right. Here's my question or thought. Listening to your program, I've come to the conclusion that you guys put as much time into your games and reading rule books that I would eventually like to put in myself. Okay, stop. Understand that, you know, we've all been playing at least 15 years minimum, you know, 20
and
in most
that
cases.
number just went up with Zeb here.
Yeah, I know. That quotient's somewhere up in the 30s now.
Yeah, at least.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but okay.
We have somebody on the show that can literally say he's been playing D&D 2nd edition before you did.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. Okay, to continue. I think that perhaps having a small portion of your program devoted to green DMs would be fantastic. Perhaps tips, essentials, etc.
We're not green, though. We don't recycle.
But I love listening to you guys, but because of only... Oh, boy. Because of only the basic knowledge that I and probably many others have, it's hard to follow along sometimes. I have many questions for you from a fairly new DM's perspective, but I'm kind of nervous to ask because some of them may be, if he doesn't know, then he shouldn't be DMing. Gravedancer, ask us away. We were all there at one point or another in, you know, over the years. We've all been novice DMs. We've all made the mistakes. Just ask your questions. Don't be shy.
In partial answer to your request, we have done a new spot on the show, which a great man created and thought up, and has been perfected by the rest of us on the show.
Corey.
DM Brainstorm.
Corey.
Setting, and we actually give the novice DMs an idea for a campaign setting where we'll come up with things, and maybe you have heard it, maybe you haven't. It's a fairly new section. Brian and Glen and Lon and I have all been running with it, trying to help other DMs.
And the occasional guest helps out, too.
Oh,
yeah,
yes, that's true.
All right, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it's a very cool. Maybe we should do one with Zeb.
Okay, all right.
I said
done.
One with Zeb tonight. All right.
Done and done.
And me and Eric and Vince do the show, which came about like this. Corey, you want to do the show? No, go ahead. Enjoy.
What are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, okay.
You guys are really cute, but I can't do this.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, go ahead and do it. I don't care. Yeah.
No, but I think it's a good idea. Maybe we'll look into maybe adding some more stuff into some more of the spots we have. We do have a couple spots that we used once or twice up in the teens that we really haven't put much focus in, called DM's Rag. We might be able to add some maybe some
modules?
ideas in there for the DM. Well, not even starter modules, but just give it like DM hints or something in the DM's rag. It's like our rag.
Yeah, we can certainly do that.
Well, that was original. I think that was originally for like modules and dungeon.
Right, Dungeon Mag and Dragon Mag. Yeah, that's what it's for. But we can always add to it or make a new section.
Yeah,
by the way, Zeb, this is not brown nosing on my part much, but I really like the business model you came up with for 2E as far as like, you guys didn't put out a whole that many modules, but the stuff in Dungeon is priceless. I mean,
the reason we didn't put out that many modules as opposed to other stuff is modules didn't sell as well.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's true.
That's true. But I see you more than made up for it in Dungeon Magazine.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons that the magazine was there.
Yeah, I've got at least a dozen of them there that I like to run.
Should we read one more email?
Sure. Actually, I've got a question. Someone posted a question on Facebook. This is an interesting question. I'm very curious about what Zeb will say. This is from Ben Washington. He asks, what class do you feel is the most balanced, and what class do you feel is the least? Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a tough question. I'm going to go start with the least issue first, because the least kind of plays out both ways. There's least as in overpowered, and then least as in underpowered.
Okay.
And I definitely think the least balanced in the underpowered is the poor druid, who basically, if he's not outside, if it's not a wilderness adventure, the poor guy is screwed.
Yeah, because most of his abilities and whatnot are not so much geared towards dungeon delving.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we're going to go into this cave and find stuff, and by the way, good luck with all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless he has 6 fingers on one hand.
Oh, yes. Did you have to bring that up, Corey?
Yes. Every time we talk about the druid, I got to talk about that. Deb, if you don't know, in the complete Druid's Handbook, there's a picture, an illustration of one of the artists you guys had put artwork in there. He drew a wizard in the pose that I'm on the camera right now, holding a staff, and he has 6 fingers on one hand. The guy literally drew 6 fingers.
So he was a Cambion. So what?
He had a little bit too much luck with that regrowth spell.
Exactly.
He killed my father. Prepare to die.
Exactly.
Yes. His name was Ruben.
As far as the best balanced is, it's really a tough call, because a lot of it has to do with how you play the characters and stuff, and they also the balance on them changes over the course of levels. So at the lower levels, the magic users, he's got a pretty tough life. But boy, once he gets up to about 9th or 10th or something, he's like, oh my God, this guy, it's like, oh yeah, here, get him, have him solve all the problems.
Exactly.
And meanwhile, the fighter who starts out pretty good, he's like, I'm the guy in the front line, I'm always doing stuff, and meanwhile, the thief is standing back there going like, well, someday I'll get to do something. But by the end of it, the fighter's going like, yeah, I can fight one guy, and he just took out 50. Wait a minute.
Exactly.
While the thief five turns later is going, am I finally at his back? Can I backstab him now?
Exactly.
I've seen that before. They just like, the thief is still trying to get behind him. Okay.
But definitely, in terms of the kind of the blowing the power curve, it's probably got to be the wizard as he gets to high levels, because everybody wants to do the really cool stuff, and the minute we gave him that witch spell, oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I've always said, ever since I've been doing this, the wizard class is a really tough road to hoe for the first 5 levels, but once he makes 5th, that's when things start to change. Because 9 times out of 10, what's the first spell a 5th level wizard's going to learn? Fireball, of course. Because
the best part now is he gets Fireball, and he usually winds up killing his party members.
Yes, exactly. Or he tries to get cute and uses Lightning Bolt and does the exact same thing.
When I was living in San Jose with my friend Daniel Medina, we played 2E, and he ran 2E as well as I did. And we came to a kind of detente on the wish spell. We had run into too many what I called jerk-ass genie DMs.
Mm-hmm.
And we did not want to slow the game down and by bringing the players bringing a lawyer in there. So he said, the wish spell, whatever you say, it will understand what you want. Because we've been burned too many times by jerk DMs who just want to, mess you up. Even if you want something simple, like, I want a meal every day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, whatever, you do a lot with that.
Yeah. If you're not wording it correctly,
Right.
And of course, it comes down to not just the DM, but also the being that's granting the wish. Because if you're dealing with Ifritis or Jinns, forget it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to really come back to haunt you at some point. But yeah, I take your point.
Yeah.
I got a question for Zeb. My question is, what was the last book that you had your, hands in?
Wow, let's see. I got to think about that. So Planescape came out, and then I worked on. Oh, I can't. There was something that came out after Planescape that I worked on. This was about '94 or so, and it wasn't anything of huge consequence. It was just yep, we got to make this and get it out.
Alternative.
And no. It was a D&D product. I just can't remember what it was. It was just terrible,
Can I ask you which project that you worked on that at the end of it when you were done you were excited that it got made? You weren't just okay, there's another project, get it off my desk. There's another project.
It's both second edition and Planescape, but those two were
okay.
But I mean, any individual piece that came out that you had your hand in that you were that's awesome.
I'd say the one that basically is the Bullwinkle and Rocky game.
Really?
I wanted to copy that.
Come on, we had plastic hand puppets.
Oh my God, that's hysterical.
That one and the Honeymooners board game you guys did.
Oh my God, I did that too.
You did that too? God, I killed that game right now.
He said that so embarrassed. These are I did that too.
Oh man, I'm such a big Honeymooners and Rocky and Bullwinkle fan.
We had little Ralphies. We had all the little Ralph figures.
Yeah.
Hey, Ralphie boy. Yeah, but when you said that, Glenn, when you said that, Zeb, I didn't even have to look at the screen to see Glenn's face light up because I knew. I just knew. But yeah, I mean, I was thinking that myself. You had, you want to know what my favorite supplement that you did, of course, and this was going back to the Power Gaming multi-game rule crossing campaign that I played in when I was a teenager, but when you came out with the Zebulon's Guide and Star Frontiers,
which you have now, right?
No, yeah, actually,
which I had nothing to do with.
Really?
Come on, they were notorious for saying, "Okay, we'll put his name on it."
Yeah, because I'm isn't that a dead giveaway? Is it just me? I guess it is. Okay.
I think the story goes they needed a title for this Star Frontiers thing they were doing, and they as usual marketing said we need a title right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's and somebody said Zebulon's Guide.
Okay. I didn't know you had nothing to do with it. Okay, that's on me. That's on me.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, if I don't have my research incorrect, you are one of the, I guess I want to say, creators of non-weapon proficiencies, or you had a hand in?
Oh yeah.
That? Awesome.
Yeah, that started with Oriental Adventures, and then and went on from there into second edition. Mm-hmm. It was an excuse for basically trying to get some kind of a skill system in.
Yeah.
Yeah. It works. It worked.
And I will say thank you for doing it, because D&D kind of needed it. Because just the secondary skills were just a little too vague. It just gave
too vague.
Just a little bit, just a little. But My whole
Like,
thing
that's a
was,
nice chart. What do I do with it?
right, but but like I was saying, it was a wonderful way to not just to augment the characters, to give them something other than I can swing a sword really well, or I can wave my hands in the air and say mystical words and funny things happen, kind of thing. And
Give you life before they were adventurers.
exactly, and it also, if the DM had anything on the ball, it gave him other things to
Hooks.
spring on that character,
And
a
as
few
you
more
know,
levers to play with, yeah.
And as you know, the downside of that is you get a lot of players who go, well, it's not on my sheet for a non-weapon proficiency, so I can't do it.
No, there are some DMs who are like that, and I'd be like, nope, you just can't.
Are you walking? Yeah. Did you write it on your sheet? Wow, you're walking.
Is that a con check?
Can't do it well.
Are you breathing? That's a dex check.
Yeah, no kidding. Jeez. Yeah, that would be con check. But okay. But thank you for the question, Ben. That was a very good one and an excellent answer.
Believe it, over on Save or Die, Mike and Liz are dealing with a 2E DM that does exactly that.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Do you is it on your sheet? Well, no, you can't do it.
Oh, I hate that. I despise that. That sticks in my craw.
Yeah.
But,
You want me to read this next email from FD here?
Yeah, go for it. Corey.
He's got 15 bucks.
Yeah.
All right. Another email from FD.
I'll be here all night.
Zeb can actually chime in on this one. It says, "Hey guys, quick question. I'm sorry if it's been done already. What do you all think of the can't in Planescape? On the Dragon's Foot forums, I often hear that this is one of the biggest complaints of the setting. I have no idea why, as it increases the verisimilitude. I can't remember how to say that word. Thank you, verisimilitude of the setting, much like how similar jargon developed in Shadowrun and in the White Wolf games. In the show about the Drow, DM Brian also extrapolated on the Drow words. In another episode, DM Glen described his German-influenced character using German spell word names. To me, it's a rose by any other name is a rose type thing. What do I think of the Canton Planescape? Like Burke, and that's, to me...
I had a lot of fun coming up with that stuff.
I'll bet.
Yeah,
it kind of shows.
Tell us.
That's an evil laugh if I ever heard one.
You got any stories or any insight on how that came about, Zeb?
Oh yeah, I mean, basically, well, we wanted to have a unique voice, and I was at that point I go through these kind of periods of fascinations that I'm fascinated in, and at that point I was fascinated in the whole kind of underworld of like the 15th to 17th century kind of, Elizabethan to, English thieves and this sort of stuff. And they had a lot of really good terms, and I had this little book that was full of them, and they were like, they're absurd kind of things. And so, started working some of that stuff in, and then after that, it's just like, this kind of just turned into the voice that we were looking for. And so yeah, a lot of the cant terms are, they are historical. They are, you could dig around in dictionaries and stuff and actually find some of these things. Yeah. But and then we made up a whole bunch of other things too. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I've seen the DF forums and people making comments about it. I personally like it. I personally think it adds a little uniqueness. When you hear the word Burke, in my opinion, if I'm playing a character and I hear somebody use the word Burke, that's telling me that they've been to other planes, they've been to Sigil, et cetera, et cetera.
Although I'm told by the English players at the time that it's actually not a very complimentary word in England.
No, it is not. Yeah, the context in which it's always used when you have the flavor text, or the perspective text and all that stuff. Yeah, it's.
Well, I'm thinking when you burk somebody, it's like saying today you're gonna whack them.
But yeah, just the flavor of it, the language, it kind of lent itself to helping, or at least in my view, helping the player or the DM sort of, convey to everyone around him, be the other players or the DM himself. It's like, this is a completely different kind of D&D here. This is where things really are cosmopolitan. Everything is coming in to this one place of Sigil where you can have, just all facets of law and chaos and good and evil and neutrality all in this area. And,
so they basically wanted to do a D&D version of Callahan's Crosstime Saloon.
Yeah.
Somewhat. Yeah,
somewhat.
Basically, that was more me in the sense that, it's like we're doing this thing about the planes, and the first problem is you needed to have that kind of crosstown saloon place because otherwise, it's like, hi, we're all going to go off to this plane and die horribly, and we need that. You needed some place where players could actually be and not have to constantly worry about do we have oxygen?
Yeah,
exactly. And then there's that. Yeah.
I think it's fun. I still think it's fun in the positive material plane. Mm-hmm. You take with yourself a wounded orc. When the orc explodes, you leave.
Yeah. There's your canary in the coal mine.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
Sure. Yeah, because that's one of those places where it in its own way it's just as deadly as the negative material plane.
Yes. See, that's what when I first saw Planescape, I'm going, well, don't we do that already in D&D?
If you want
but
to, but
it's a whole different animal.
Yes. I mean, when we covered it, God, how long ago we covered Planescape? But it was a long time ago.
This is our 100th show.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah. But we were.
Planescape, I was there. Planescape, I was there. Not Spelljammer.
Yeah. Spelljammer. Yeah. You recused yourself. Yes.
I don't even know what that is. But anyways, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna play the stupid host card right now. Did you have a hand in Spelljammer, Zeb?
No, that was mostly Jeff. I mean, I wrote a novel for it, the first Spelljammer novel, which was a weird Dragonlance Spelljammer crossover.
Is that the one with Kenders in space?
Eventually they would wind up in space, yes.
Yeah. With the giant space hamsters.
Yeah. But, Spelljammer came out before Planescape, and actually it was kind of from that we learned a bunch of lessons that we tried to apply in Planescape. And one of the things we'd realized after Spelljammer came out is that nobody was actually using it as a campaign, because it was more a way to get from here to there, kind of a thing, and there wasn't a strong sense of here is a place that you kind of operate out of, and that's actually one of the big reasons why we came up with Sigil and that whole thing is so that there was the players had a home to start from.
Right.
Yeah, I felt the same way until I saw Treasure Planet. And I go, aha! That's how you use Planescape.
Yeah.
I mean, Spelljammer, rather.
Yep. Yeah, Treasure Planet. Yeah, pretty much. I think he was a Spelljammer player because there were quite a few similarities. It's true.
Now, can I do a quick thank you to Zeb for one thing that I don't think we were going to touch on tonight, but I have to.
Uh-oh.
Mr. David Zeb Cook was one of the designers in City of Villains computer MMO.
I didn't know that.
Really?
Oh yeah, I've been doing the MMO thing now for a while.
Awesome.
Yeah, he worked for Cryptic Studios, and when I saw his name on there, I'm like, is that the same? I was like, oh, it is the same. Awesome. So thank you very much. I enjoyed that game immensely.
Well, thank you. There were a lot of good people who worked on that.
It actually pulled me out of the Matrix Online and brought me back to City of Heroes.
Cool.
Yeah,
until it died.
City of Villains was a lot of fun. These days, I'm working on Elder Scrolls Online. And
are you working back with Lawrence?
Yeah. Well, Lawrence works in the office next door to me.
And he's the one who brought you into TSR, right? Or he was your boss, I think?
Yeah, Lawrence is one of the people who hired me into TSR.
Nice.
Lawrence Schick, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
I do my research on our hosts or guests, in case you guys haven't noticed.
I like to wing it. If something comes to me, I'll blurt it out. But yeah.
In between six packs, anyway.
Yeah, well, when I'm sober. How'd you know I was drinking beer?
You're on camera, Corey. We saw.
Let me tell you, the first time you came to North Texas, I talked to Vince, and he had me convinced the Zeb Cook who did 2E and the Zeb Cook who did the Expert Basic BX was two different people.
No.
There you go. That was my evil alter ego.
Yeah. And he said, no, that's somebody different. He ain't coming. I says, well, are you sure? Because it says Zeb Cook, and I ripped through those books going,
oh my God.
And finally said, I'm just messing with you. Yeah, it's the same guy.
Yeah, when you talk about that, go ahead, Glenn.
Then I punched him, and we were friends. So,
I mean, I shudder to think how many expert books I went through as a kid. I shudder to think. I think I bought at least 7 or 8 over like a space of 5 years.
So he supported you, Zeb.
Yes, I did.
See that? Yeah. You were just throwing off our calculations as the size of our player base.
Yeah, there are a whole bunch of them being bought in Connecticut in this one particular area. There must be a lot of D&D players there.
No, he eats them.
I also have to thank you, Zeb, for making one of my favorite modules. I don't use modules that often, but one of the ones I love. Well, first of all, I just love Conan the Barbarian play setting and Hyperborea, but your CV1 was awesome.
Conan Unchained?
Heck yeah!
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm a big Howard fan, and so that was a lot of fun to do. Because first off, it was I need to have copies of all the Howard books and read them again.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and you wanted
I saw the movie, but.
And speaking to piggyback on what Corey was saying about that, I love that you actually slightly altered the 1E gaming system to make it grittier, to make it like we're playing, as if Howard himself was DMing this thing, because I was like,
in other words, if you don't have a sword, you're gonna die.
Yeah, exactly. And you better rest when you can, because you're going to die. There aren't that many clerics in in
that's right.
What's that?
Something I don't mean to keep. I'm just trying to move it along here. I gotta ask. This is something that I personally remembered, and I was like, I gotta ask him, but I'm not sure. I gotta ask you about the article you wrote in Dragon 118.
Okay.
Good Lord, I don't even know what article that was.
Oh, I gotta see this. Hold on, I'm pulling.
In Dragon number 118, February '87, Cook wrote a column titled "Who Dies," in which he discussed which character classes may be thrown out of the revision for second edition.
Oh God, that yes.
Provoking a response from the players. He literally trolled Dragon readers with which character class isn't going to be removed. How did you do that on purpose, or were you just told to write it that way, or?
Well, it wasn't told to write it that way, but we knew that we were doing. We were talking about this, and we realized that if we're going to do it, we have to get the fans basically kind of prepared for the idea that something like this might happen,
right?
And B, to really get a chance to kind of lay out the case for why some things might go away, and then also, to kick the hornet's nest a little bit to get some, to get some, interest and controversy going a little bit.
I think you sucsucceeded beyond your wildest dreams, I believe.
Yeah, I pulled that up and read that the other night when we were going to do this last week and we canceled and we were going to do it this week. I pulled that article up and started reading.
There it is.
Yeah, enjoy that, Brian, while you read that.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. Let's do another one.
Okay.
Another email?
Yeah, go ahead, Corey.
We got
plenty. We got plenty.
You did the Joseph, the DM Grave Dancer.
Grave Dancer, yeah. That's the last one I did.
All right, I will do... I don't want to touch that one. I will do... I guess we'll do Soren.
Okay, go for it.
I guess we'll do Soren. Soren... he's Swedish or something. We're gonna go with Soren Beck Madsen. Soren Beck Madsen wrote, and he writes to Glen. Glen. All hail ye who layeth the smacketh down with the mighty hammer of THACO. Long-time listener, second-time writer, here from the cold north of Denmark. I was close. Before I get to my question, though, I might touch upon the subject of the Lenorm, seeing as it is a creature of Norse mythology, and you had an excellent show about it a while back. Now, it should actually be pronounced Lin Orm, not Lindorm. The D is silent. It means bendable worm, or in this case, worm with a W-Y-R-M. Bendable worm is W-O-R-M.
Yep.
Legend tells it that one time Prince of Denmark, Ragnar, heard tale of the most beautiful woman in the kingdom, Thora, who found herself in quite the predicament. Her father, who showered her with gifts, had given her a tiny Lindorm that slept upon a pile of gold in a small chest. The amount of gold magically grew as the Lindorm grew, and soon it had grown into a monstrous size, encircling Thora's entire house and trapping her inside. Many brave warriors fell attempting to slay the beast, having been promised all the gold in the beautiful Thora's hand. Ragnar, knowing that the Lindorm's breath, bite, and even blood was deadly poisonous, made a leather armor that covered his entire body, dipped it in tar, and rolled it in sand. In the cover of darkness, he then attacked the dragon, thinking to slay the beast in its sleep, but its spear could not penetrate the Lindorm's scales. But as the beast rose to attack, he stabbed it in its softer belly. He stabbed it so hard that his spearhead broke off and was sprayed by the dying Lindorm's blood. His armor proved to be strong enough to keep the poisonous blood from Ragnar's skin and thus saved his life. He recited a heroic poem, as they did back then, and walked away.
So the dragon was killed by Iron Man. He was killed by Iron Man, who was tarred and feathered.
Yeah. So essentially, I guess, in nowadays, movie heroes don't look at explosions. Norse heroes don't look at bleeding dragons. He just walked away after the poem.
Wow, they certainly did things differently back in those days.
Little twist of the tale is that Lindorm was given to Thoras' father by Odin in disguise, thinking to attest people of Midgard, as he was known to do. Nowadays, rumor has it that Lindorm lives on a long lake in the island of Funen, where the Danish fairy tale writer Hans Christian Andersen was born. Phew, that was a long-winded story, and you don't have to read it aloud on the podcast if it's going to take up too much time. I just thought you might like a little background in Dragon Lindorm. Great, I should have pre-read this. Now, on to my question. Challenge, please.
After that history lesson.
Yeah, I love your new DM brainstorm section, and I thought I might persuade you to do a little brainstorming for my ongoing campaign. Maybe we can do this tonight. It is set in my homemade world in a city named Vilsheim. For a long while, I've been telling my players that a festival is coming to Vilsheim, and it is all the shizzle. Now that I've got plans for a market, a battle arena, and a stage for musical competitions, but I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on what could fill these events with, and whatever else might pop up in your AD&D 2nd Edition minds. Vilsheim is a fairly large city with a population of about 50,000 people. That's very large.
Yes, it is.
Though it is not the capital. It is a mainly human city, but they have fine trading relationship with other good-aligned races. You are absolutely allowed to blow me a raspberry and say, "Do it yourself, you crummy bum." But I thought it would be fun and unique to imagine my players would get a blast out of it when I tell them Vilsheim Festival is co-designed by THACO's Hammer, and tonight, Zeb Cook.
Yes.
Keep up the good work. I truly love your podcast and have listened to many episodes several times.
Yep.
He's from where? He's from where?
Denmark. He's Danish.
Denmark. Oh, good. I thought he was from Iceland. We were going to hear about the Kalevala. But
yeah. Okay.
I've been
Challenge
trying to
accepted.
work. I've been trying to work a sample in my game for years. Anyway.
So yeah,
you know
festival.
who you
Right?
are. Get it?
Okay. Shall we actually start the segment?
Oh, let me do it. Okay. Let me do it.
Okay.
All right, folks. We're talking to Zeb. You can always write us at thacoshammer@gmail.com, and let's go into brainstorm.
Now you tell me what you know.
Only the infinity of the depths of a man's mind can really tell the story.
What are you, a wizard, a genius?
DM Brainstorm.
All right. So is this a religious holiday? Is this what kind of festival is this going to be?
Brainstorm, a religious holiday. Is it? That's a good question.
No, just probably just a massive festival, a once a year kind of thing, maybe.
Maybe it's their festival of their harvest festival, or maybe it's the festival since he's from Denmark and they don't see much light. Could be springtime.
The ice festival. Tulips. Or ice festival might be good.
Yeah, the ice festival of the lunar eclipse or something. Yeah.
So I don't know, Zeb, if you've heard this section before, but let me give you a quick rundown of how we do it. We just literally are 4 guys sitting at a bar, at a table in a bar, and we're just shooting the poop, and we're just throwing spaghetti at a wall, seeing if it sticks, and we're coming up with a campaign as if a group of people were coming up with a good idea for a campaign.
And not talking about Bill Brasky. Okay.
Yeah,
No Bill Brasky.
Yeah, we leave that out. But yeah, I mean, I can only imagine what the spitballing sessions at TSR back in the day were like, But yeah, we kind of
get
model it
amusing.
like that. What's that?
Yeah, they could get amusing. That's sure.
I'm sure.
So look, we got an ice festival. It sounds like an ice festival is a good start.
Yeah.
All right. In the city of Vilsheim.
In the city of Vilsheim. So like they're celebrating the fact that it's freezing cold.
Okay.
All right.
How
It's
do
an
we
ice
get?
festival. Okay.
We should probably get some kind of like God action involved here on the anniversary
Well, of course, you got
the
every
winter
festival's got to have the burning of the heretics.
Yeah, of course.
Wow.
And, you got the celebration of the winter god and blowing his
Easy. We don't want to get kicked off iTunes. Easy.
Across the land and freezing everything. This could be a substitute for Christmas. Who knows?
Yeah, it could be their
their winter solstice god celebration. Maybe it's the god's birthday or something. That's like
or either that or it's the defeat of the winter god. You know.
Yes,
now we are moving back into longer days.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I kind of like that.
That would be a spring festival then.
Right.
All right.
Because that would be if you're up in Denmark, that would be a reason to celebrate for sure, because winters can be really harsh up there.
Oh, look, a tulip, we're coming up now. Yeah.
Yeah, just tiptoe around it. Anyway.
All right, so what do they do? That would be interesting to adventurers,
Okay. All right, well, let's see. Well, let's go down the list. There'll be contests of strength.
Well, they drink. Yeah, I had to go on. Somebody here was pointing to the fact they would drink.
Yeah, food and drink. Yes, of course.
Ice fit. No, not ice fishing. Is it a winter or spring festival?
Spring. They're celebrating winter's
it's
end.
in between two. It's in between the two.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So there'd be ice fishing.
We can have horrible cold weather, but still some hope.
Sure.
But
okay.
But maybe they have to go and make or get the ritual, the ingredients to make like the ritual beer or something like that.
Oh, the brew. Oh, okay. Oh no, you know what? That's a contest for adventurers to have. That they would be journey out into the wilderness further. Let's say slightly further north. Say a few dozen leagues or whatever. Well, that's not slightly, but you get my idea.
Leagues.
Yeah, a couple leagues further north, and the lands north of town are overrun with humanoids and things of that nature, and they have to go into this forest and get the quote unquote magical hops to create the beer
using non-weapon proficiencies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they have to defend themselves, but yeah. But yeah.
So, okay, that works.
So normally this is easy though, but something's got to be a complication.
Of course.
It's like a giant scavenger hunt.
Of course.
Well, if it's going to be a snowy kind of wintry place, I'm thinking maybe these special hops that only grow in one section might be guarded maybe in a field that is inhabited by remoras.
Ooh. Yeah.
Right?
That's pretty nasty. Okay.
That's pretty harsh. Yeah.
And one of the ingredients is the head of one.
Oh yeah. You have to get actual Remora's blood. Yes.
Wow, you need Remora's blood for this brew.
Yes.
Let's just go big here.
Right now I feel like I'm channeling full on. Yes, a lot of blood.
Yeah, well, we have to do a little bit for him since he's not here, and I'm pretty sure he's not happy about it. But okay, done.
I'm thinking he said that he has plans for a market, a battle arena, and a stage for musical competition. He'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on what it is to fill these events. I'm thinking for musical competition, because these are northern hardy people, I'm thinking for musical competitions, you would have a bard down in his skivvies, and it would be an endurance kind of play. Everybody would continue to play music, and it would have to take constitution checks while they're out there in the cold.
And
continuing to play music.
Yeah, constitution checks and also musical instrument checks also.
Yeah, absolutely. They continue to have to play
ice
cold.
swimming.
Ice swimming's another one. Yeah, we could do that. I'm thinking the battle arena, what they might have to do is maybe like, I don't know, we got like ice giants.
Yes, frost giants.
Frost giants. We could have some stone golems maybe. I don't know. What do we could do a whole lot of things in the battle arena.
I'm
thinking of why are you doing stuff in the battle arena? How does that relate to this winter festival thing? You know,
well, if it's the festival's about the defeat of the god, I guess maybe they would have some sort of.
Yeah, it's got a big symbolic ritual battle thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. For sure.
Okay.
It's kind of like the Scottish Games, only wintertime.
Well, actually, you know what?
Only with ice cubes.
They don't throw cavers. They throw. I don't know, big icicles or something.
Actually,
yeah, a wizard casts wall of ice. They get two guys to slice down a little column of it, and they start doing ice caver tossing.
Okay, let's tie it together. Let's say that for adventuring parties, there's like a 3-stage. There's let's see. What would we call it? Let's call it the Heroes of Vilsheim, and it's a title that the party holds for a year, and they get maybe free food and drink in Vilsheim and lodging or something like that. It's something that most adventuring parties who would use Vilsheim as a base would like to shoot for. And the first one is getting the hops for the brew and getting the Remoraz blood, and then on top of that, then they have to, as a final test of their strength and their teamwork and things like that, then they participate in that in the ritualized combat. That would be sort of the climax to the whole festival.
Yeah, and I think the music stage. I think that because come on, this is good Scandinavian kind of stuff that they respect. They respect skalds and all this sort of stuff. So,
yeah, for sure.
It's you got to get the hops and the brew. You got to do the big battle, but then you have to prove your skill with singing and words and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking
so we can get our poor hapless players and force them to actually do really bad poetry.
Yes.
Well,
sure.
I was thinking of wanting to combine the bards sing off in the skivvies with the ice swimming. Stick them in a pool of ice. Okay, go.
Yeah, staying key if you can. That would be con checks and
polar
singing
bear
checks.
plunging. Polar bear plunging, is that what we're talking about here?
Yeah, polar bear plunging mixed with karaoke. How about that? And just sort
Speaking of,
I don't know. I feel like we're trying to mash too many things into one thing.
Welcome to Brainstorms. Then this is how it goes. We just start. One person gets an idea, another plays off that, then another plays off the first playoff, and next thing you know, we've got alphabet soup. You know what I mean?
And then you just take what you want and leave the rest, like the salad bar.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what about, say, the king and queen of the festival?
Okay. That's a good one. I almost would, but then again, this is just me. It would kind of be I won't say a beauty pageant because that's not the right term I want to use, but it's the closest thing. But it's
the king thing could be the culmination of the contests.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. I see where you're going, and I'm going to vibe off that, Glenn. How about this? The land around Vilsheim, are you listening to me here, Soren? The land around Vilsheim is ran and populated with humans of different clans. You have, I don't want to use the same names as they used in 10 Towns, but like the Elk Clan, the Bear Clan, etc. Mm-hmm. And what happens is when someone joins the festival and joins one of these competitions, you are working as a herald or as a representative of a certain clan. And what happens is those who win the most amount of these competitions allow their king and queen to vie for the throne for that year.
Interesting.
Oh, that's good. I like that. Yeah.
So essentially, when the players get here, it reminded me of that whole what's that movie with the guy that played the Joker when he was on the horseback jousting, Knight's Tale.
Knight's Tale.
Do you remember when he was at the table and he was and it was banging on the shields that had the different battles? Imagine the players walk up to a table with each of the clans on a different shield, and the players have to declare which clan that they're going to represent. You know, hey, we're here for the Elk clan. Okay, fine. What are you going to do? Well, I'm going to do the Bardic competition. So you're doing it for the king of the Elk clan. So that way, if you win, you're helping him get to the point where he can compete for the actual throne.
Okay, and of course there are a couple of clans who want to play dirty.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
They're going to try and.
How do we get the PCs?
Play dirty. There are rules to this.
Of course. Doesn't mean that they always follow them. This is, a pseudo Norse town.
All right, let's give him some we got the games going, we got the festival going.
Okay.
Why don't we give him a little filigree around it? What about food?
Oh. Let's see.
Is there a food competition, or what kind of food do they serve?
Cooking competition. More NWPs, Glenn. Cooking competitions.
Meat pie baking competition.
Yeah.
Brewing competitions.
Brewing, yeah, for sure.
Brewing.
Yeah, I mean.
Are there specialties they only bake for this festival? That kind of thing.
Yeah, I would say because it would be. Oh, let's see. There would be certain berries that only come into season at this time, which kind of is another reason why this festival gets together. Or a certain
pickled grell tongue.
Oh, grell tongue.
I love it.
Yeah.
Pickled anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Or even trying to. There would be a fishing competition, not even so much ice fishing, but actual going out in long ships and trying to get giant pikes that are like 13 hit dice and trying to catch that and bring it back.
Now that's a good thing for the PCs to do.
Or even aboleth.
No, they're not very tasty. The slime is awful.
Yeah. The slime tends to do bad things.
If it was Corey, it'd be fried odiug. So
yummy.
Yeah.
You have to get all the.
They smell bad, but they taste good.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to say, I got to get going here pretty soon because I got to be up hideously early tomorrow.
Okay.
I understand.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I think we gave him enough to work with.
Yeah,
I think so.
Most certainly.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah,
there you go. What's his name?
Soren.
Yeah, Soren.
Soren?
Mm-hmm.
On a platter right there. Take what you want, leave the rest. You guys can come up with other things for thacoshammer@gmail.com, or what's the number?
405-806-0555.
Give us a call. Yep. Well, I think it's time to close this Splat Book. Number 100 people, thank you for sticking with us so long.
Mm-hmm.
From the bottom of all four of our hearts.
Thank you for having me.
Oh.
And thank you, Zeb, for coming on this very special show.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime, even if you just want to shoot the breeze.
Anytime
we're not picking your brain so much.
Yep, you want to come back and join us on a Monday night? Just tell us.
I will do that. Yes.
We'll take it easy on you next time. Hey, he could play. Hey, we ought to get him back here to play some 2E trivia.
Oh God!
Oh my God!
I would fail miserably.
That would be so funny. Zeb, let me tell you something. The easiest way to win, the answer is barred.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. See, every other question was barred. Anyway, say goodnight, Brian.
Good night, folks. And just remember, if you're going to be fishing for giant pike, don't think that you're going to be using this itty bitty little string. You're going to have to be using ropes as big as your arm.
That's true. Corey?
Good night, folks. And until Zeb decides he wants to go join 5th edition, keep swinging that THACO's hammer.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Cook, would you like to say goodnight?
Good night, everybody. It's been fun here, and I'm just overwhelmed by the awesomeness of this discussion.
Well, that's one way of putting it, yes. And I'm DM Glen saying, And I'm David Glen saying for the 100th time and 100 more, we'll see you next time when the hammer comes down on everybody. THACO's hammer.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Oh,
How much did you pay him to say that? That was awful.
THACO's Hammer theme is provided by the Diablo Swing Orchestra. You'll find them on Jamendo.com. All other additional music for this episode was provided by Kevin MacLeod. You'll find more of his music on Incompetech.com. Be sure to visit our website at thacoshammer.info. If you have any questions or comments, email us at thacoshammer@gmail.com. Remember, that's an O, not a 0. You can also find us on the Second Edition forums at osrgaming.org and at purpleworm.org. Or give us a call and leave us a voicemail at 405-806-0555. See you next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer.